These Six Nations champions have named their squad, and I tell you what, when you look at it, you wouldn't bet against them winning another title, because as well as an already very, very good team, they welcome back, fit and ready and available, hopefully, Jamison Gibson-Park and Dan Sheehan. And if that is the case, and they are good to go, I'll tell you what, that elevates an already very good team to an elite side, because those two men alone, and there are others that are back and available, but those two men alone are so important, such crucial positions, and so good that it could be a game changer for the Six Nations. So I think Ireland are in a very, very good place. Tadhg Furlong, clean bill of health. Jack Conan is back and available. That's a big boost. He's been really good for Leinster. Are there players that are lucky to be there, though? That's a question I'm going to pose over this video. I can understand why very experienced campaigners, but guys who are probably not going to be there in Australia 2027, Cian Healy, Peter Amani, maybe Ian Henderson as well, I can understand why they're still there. I think there will be Ireland fans undoubtedly thinking, we need to start thinking about our squad for 2027. We need a bit more succession plan going on. But remember, there's a couple of things there. Firstly, no Andy Farrell for this Six Nations Championship. Simon Easterby is running the ship while Andy Farrell goes and looks after the British and Irish Lions. And with that being the case, I think the experience of those guys I mentioned could be massive. Secondly, and this is something which I got a lot of comments after the England squad announcement and my thoughts on that people, what's the point in having George Ford and Elliot Daly? Their days are done. Get rid of Henry Slade. This is a British and Irish Lions year. And I think the best way of managing the season, therefore, is getting your best and most experienced players out there to win a tournament. Go and win some silverware while you can. And then this summer, when it will be a squad of youngsters, not playing against the top opposition because there's a British and Irish Lions series, get some experience with them. And from that summer series, summer tests, you can pick out the 3 or maybe 4, maybe 5 really, really high quality youngsters who you can then pull into the squad for November of this year and then filter them in and maybe filter a couple of these guys out. But all those things together mean I think England's squad was, broadly speaking, bang on, and I think Ireland's is as well when you take all that into account. But there's lots to talk about. I'll go through position by position and I will pick my 23-man squad that I'm expecting to be playing against England in Dublin on that first weekend in February. Let's get into it. Give me your thoughts in the comments down below. Thumbs up on the video, please, would really help. And I would love it if I would earn your subscription as well. So Loosehead prop, Cian Healy is still there. Ireland's most capped ever player is still around. He's not going to be there in Australia in 2027. He's already on the decline. And he would probably be the first person to admit that. Just look at the amount of minutes that Andrew Porter has to play for club and country. But Cian Healy is currently the man backing him up for club and country. Jack Boyle, the man that looks like he is going to be backing him up for club and country for the years ahead, he is in. So you've got a nice little passing of the baton maybe in this Six Nations Championships from Healy to Boyle. No Jeremy Loughman in this one. He's obviously not rated enough. Maybe Jack Boyle is going to be the man. But this is one of the positions they have to solve, because heaven forbid Andrew Porter gets an injury. They're in a bit of a pickle then. Tight head prop, less of an issue because Finlay Bealham stepped in and did a decent job while Tadhg Furlong was unavailable. He's back. And with Tom O'Toole being out suspended for the first 2 games, it's given Simon Easterby the confidence to say, we don't need you in the squad. We'll have Thomas Clarkson, who made his debut against Fiji instead. I'm pretty happy. You'd have to be pretty happy with that. 4 hookers, what do you make of that? I mean, Dan Sheehan being back, I've already said, is massive. And he's the clear number one of the best in the world, and such a difference maker of a rugby player. But the fact they've got 4 hookers in there, does that make you think Dan Sheehan's not going to be fully fit and ready come the England match? Maybe I'm just an Englishman wishfully thinking that Dan Sheehan might not be playing. That would give us more of a chance. I don't know, it's an interesting one. I think maybe it's just that Gus McCarthy did so well in November when he played that you couldn't drop him. And equally, Kelleher, Herring, it would be harsh to drop either of them. I don't know, is there a little bit of sentiment going on? Is Herring being kept in because of time served? Or is it more likely Dan Sheehan won't be able to play all 5 games? It'll be an interesting one to watch. I'll wait and see if Sheehan is named in the Leinster squad for this weekend. Second row, I've named 4. Yeah, there are some players who can play in multiple positions. Some of the back rowers might be considered as second rowers, Baird and Izuchukwu, but for the most part, Joe McCarthy and Tyg Byrne, with James Ryan as the backup and Ian Henderson as that fourth one. I mean, Tom Ahern, he looks like he's got the credentials to maybe be an international player before long. I think Munster fans certainly would rather that was sooner than later. And Henderson was not at his best in November, it's safe to say. But again, for the reasons I said, no Andy Farrell. Also, Ian Henderson is actually quite good at the line-out, and it tends to look better when he's there. Maybe that's why he's in the squad. I've got no big issue with that, but at some point you feel like the baton's going to have to pass, possibly from Henderson to one of the younger guys, maybe before 2027. As for the back row, class players, and the starting back row, whichever one they put out on the field, will be very, very good. I just think it might be a little bit sixy, a little bit blindside flanker heavy, don't you think? When you consider that Tyg Byrne played the November tests on the blindside flank, and I think he might do again for the Six Nations, because James Ryan's playing really well. I don't know. It's an interesting one. What do you think? And for the line-out benefit that you get from it. In that context, it makes sense. You've got Caelan Doris and Jack Conan, out-and-out eights. I know Cian Prendergast can play there. But then you've got Omani, Baird, Izuchukwu, Prendergast, all blindside flankers. Yes, Peter Omani can and has played 7 in the past. Is he at elite open side flanker levels right now? I'm not so sure. And for that reason, is there enough succession plan going on for if something were to happen to Josh van der Fleer? Or would Ireland have to put Caelan Doris on the open side flank? Maybe that's what they're going to do. I don't know. Maybe that's what the thinking is. But Hodnett might feel hard done by. I've already mentioned Ahern. Yeah, but I mean, generally speaking, very, very good options. No complaints there. Scrum half, they've got Jamison Gibson Park in the squad. Happy days. And that is a massive softener for the blow that Craig Casey is out. Craig Casey's done nothing wrong. Harsh for him to get a bad injury. You were thinking he was going to kick on and become the Ireland number 2, which he hasn't been used as consistently, but he had those starts through November and you thought he would be ready. An injury, I understand keeping Conor Murray. He would have been another one of those older players around who's maybe had an extension of his career because of this. And Cowlin Blade, yeah, fine. Ireland don't have loads of players, but the ones they've got are very, very good. Fly half, this is where the battle begins. Who is it going to be starting against England on that first weekend in February? I'll name my team in a minute and predict who I think it will be. But we thought after the South Africa test it was going to be Frawley versus Crowley. But now Crowley versus Prendergast looks more likely. Which one of those 2 or 3 is going to get the nod? Whichever issue it goes, whichever way it goes. I mean, how much will that be purely Simon Easterby's call? And how much will he be on the phone going, here, Faz, what do you reckon? That'll be interesting. Centre, no worries there. No McCloskey, no bother. You've got 3 outstanding players who can play in any combination together. And you've also got utility backline players like Jamie Osborne in the outside backs who can slot in as well. Along with James Lowe, Matt Hansen, Hugo Keenan will be the main 3. Calvin Nash is an out-and-out wing replacement. Jamie Osborne and Jimmy O'Brien, utility backs who can slot in wherever's needed. Ireland are going to be very good. As for who will play against England, I still have a feeling Tyg Byrne is going to be 6. James Ryan's just so good. And I've gone for Baird, Conan on the bench. I don't know, what do you think? As for the back line, it picks itself, doesn't it? It's such a nice place to be. I'm an England fan where we can debate till the cows come home. This player should be in the squad. That combination works, doesn't work. Ireland, you just go, done. You know it, especially the back line. And basically one selection to make in the forwards. Do you want James Ryan or James Ryan on the bench and someone else in the starting team? It's such a nice place to be where you know what your best team is and you have total confidence that they're going to go out and win, which I actually expect them to do. They will and should be favourites for the Six Nations. That's what I think the Ireland team will be. That's my thoughts on the squad. Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. I will see you on the next one.